Since the dawn of history, people have gathered together to make important decisions. Languages worldwide pay tribute to collective intelligence in proverbs such as two heads are better than one. The advent of information technologies in the 20th century brought new opportunities for creative collaboration. Russian Witology is one of the first companies in the world to build its business using social networking technologies. Wikipedia, an internet encyclopedia, is one of the most popular projects created by people from all over the world. All its articles have been written and edited by volunteers out of sheer enthusiasm. It was not until Wikipedia reached 10 million contributors that a term to describe the process it is based on was found. According to Wikipedia itself, the term crowdsourcing was coined by journalist Jeff Howey in 2006.
Crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing. От английского crowdsourcing.
Crowdsourcing is a process of solving specific tasks through the joint efforts of an undefined, generally large group of people.
Большого круга людей.
Появление интернета, распространение интернета.
The rapid spread of the internet, the rise of social networks, blogs, Wikipedia and so on. All this has revealed new facets of human nature, unknown before. And crowdsourcing is based on those facets. It turns out that people are eager to work, as long as they're invited. There will always be someone willing to work not only for you, but also to solve your problems.
Crowdsourcing projects attract very different people, both those who are acquainted with each other as well as total strangers. They may live in different countries or work in the same company. They may have completely different educational backgrounds or belong to the same profession, for example, be members of a community of professional physicists.
On the one hand, crowdsourcing can bring together tens of millions of unskilled people via the internet to solve some bulky kinds of tasks in a short period of time. On the other hand, crowdsourcing may give rise to online communities of highly qualified professionals who put their heads together to come up with fundamentally new solutions to formerly insoluble problems, either working in collaboration with each other or individually.
Sometimes even large and successful corporations get fresh ideas from newbies.
Boeing doubled its aircraft production in 3 years. One of the most time-consuming and laborious operations was installing seats inside the aircraft. Just imagine a huge Boeing with 300 to 400 seats, seats that had to be lifted one by one using special equipment, until a young engineer, a recent graduate, offered a new solution. He said, "On the farm where I grew up, we used a special conveyor for manure. We loaded it onto that conveyor, and the manure was moved out of the barn." He suggested using such a conveyor to lift the seats into the aircraft. Boeing engineers went to his farm and examined the technology. A few days later, they had a conveyor installed, and the seats were now installed 6 times faster than before.
In short, crowdsourcing is a method of identifying key issues or problems, searching for savvy people, and extracting implicit knowledge. The company Witology is based on this method. They create social networking technologies that allow large numbers of people to work together online. These technologies can help large companies or even governments find solutions to problems, as well as facilitate scientific research. The Witology was founded in 2008. The concept was so convincing that the Sputnik group of Boris Jordan and Michael Prokhorev's Onexim invested $5 million in the startup for a 49.9% stake in Witology.
$5 million weren't invested in the company, but in Sergei Karilov's and Alexander Oslan's brilliant idea, and a few key employees as well as in a pilot project and in the methodology which existed only on paper and was unproven in real application.
Almost all the money went into the development of their special software. Witology technology platform had to be able to do two things: filter users and filter ideas.
Selecting ideas and people requires sophisticated filtering algorithms, just like any selection process. For example, astronaut candidates have to undergo a medical examination, walk on a treadmill and ride an exercise bike, and then they're spun in a centrifuge. And believe me, the final decision is made by a special program, not by some doctor.
Witology's approach to detecting the best people and ideas is fundamentally different from those that are usually used in social networks.
The notorious Matthews effect, the phenomenon where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, applies to social collaboration as well. So in social collaboration platforms, participants should not be able to see other opinions until they express their own. It's not the so-called communitainment, that's communication plus entertainment, which implies that you see others' opinions and form your own accordingly. It's our belief that such a principle should not exist in social collaboration platforms. It has the power to destroy everything immediately. Our objective is to obtain the unbiased and uninfluenced assessment of each participant.
How does the Witology platform work? Participants of the project, from 1,000 to several hundred thousand, have access to the same online site. Each has their own personal account and avatar. They work on certain business problems, either generating ideas or filtering the ideas submitted, depending on the stage of work. As a result, only the best ideas remain.
Within the idea exchange, participants are trading ideas as you would trade shares in stocks. Here you can see how the shares in ideas change in value. On the right are the names of the ideas, and here is a share price chart for those ideas. For example, here we have this red idea. Its stock price has grown rapidly. It's pulled ahead. At the end, we have 5 winning ideas that reached the maximum value, 100 WIT units.
The Witology platform analyzes the socio-semantic network created by project participants. A social network consists of people, the participants of the project. A semantic network is a set of documents, text, proposals, and comments that people generate during their work.
We know the author of every element of the semantic network, every sentence or every idea or comment. You can see all those links that connect the semantic and social parts. The goal of our analysis is to separate certain nodes from others in both the semantic on the right and social networks on the left. This way we identify the most interesting suggestions, the most interesting comments, additions, and the most interesting people.
Witology's slogan is idea search through people search through idea search. One thing leads to another. People generate ideas, and ideas point to the people with whom we would like to work.
Когда возник интернет, стало ясно, что он открывает новые.
The fact that the internet offers new opportunities became very obvious soon after its invention. Research groups are currently figuring out how to turn a crowd into a functional team, and the methods that are used for this purpose are incorporated in the Witology platform.
There are over 50 employees in Witology. The company has begun to make profits from organizing and executing crowdsourcing projects. This is a totally new market that is being created in Russia, and that implies its own difficulties.
You know how it is. No one wants to fund a non-existent market. No company will put aside money on the off chance that there might be a crowdsourcing project in a year's time. So we have to scrounge around for money from other budgets.
Traditional consulting and marketing are major competitors of social network technologies. On the plus side, Witology-run projects easily fit the budget boundaries that companies set for innovations.
Some time ago, the government began urging companies to introduce innovations. We were contacted by some state-owned corporations and they said, "We're being forced to innovate. We searched the net to learn what innovation is and found you. Let's try to create a crowdsourcing project."
Today, a number of large companies use crowdsourcing. One of them is Rosatom, a state-owned corporation. Rosatom plans to attract around 20,000 highly qualified specialists in the next 5 years. Traditionally, this would mean that HR experts should visit about 200 specialized universities to make presentations and talk about the industry, which until recently no one knew anything about. This recruitment model is very expensive.
We've studied what modern students do and how they live today. It turns out that they're all active users of social networks. They communicate in a totally different way to previous generations, say 5 to 10 years ago. So we decided to look for them where they already are.
In order to find young talents, Rosatom and Witology have organized the Young Professionals Tournament, short form TAMP. 900 students from various universities entered the competition. The crowdsourcing technology helped to select the 98 best candidates within 6 weeks. They all received job offers.
Witology's technology on the one hand allowed participants to demonstrate the abilities, and on the other hand enabled Rosatom to identify people with leadership skills, potential and creativity.
Another example is the pilot crowdsourcing project in Sberbank. It was timed to coincide with the 170th anniversary of the bank and was aimed at searching for new directions that the bank should develop in the future. Over 100,000 people participated and over 2,500 ideas were generated. An obvious but nevertheless fresh idea was to use virtual deposit boxes for confidential digital information storage.
The idea was submitted by one project participant and taken up by many others. It went from just being an idea through discussions, debates and sometimes conflicts to a final draft.
The latest trend in the IT industry is providing cloud services. However, the opponents of cloud technologies indicate the potential security risk of those services. What if competitors steal the data? In fact, the crowdsourcers use the already common concept of banks as a safe place for storage.
We're ready to provide information storage services. Moreover, we understand that this is predominantly your proprietary information. These are documents that accompany bank contracts and things like that. We've already proven that we can handle and store your money safely, which has earned us the right to say that we can store your information just as well.
Sberbank has a new data processing center, the largest in Europe. Creating virtual cells will cost the bank next to nothing, and it is highly possible that this service will attract new clients.
Of course, such novel solutions can only be put forward by people who are knowledgeable, not only in the field of banking, but also in many other fields. It's at the junction of different disciplines that fundamentally new solutions may spring up. I think that continuous improvement of technologies is only possible through crowdsourcing, the method that allows gathering large numbers of new proposals every day. Information technologies are linked to management technologies. They can be used everywhere. More importantly, they must be used. Otherwise, it will be impossible to compete in the market. Today, this is the key management trend.
Witology's founders are convinced that social network technologies and crowdsourcing will remain a global trend for the next 30 years. The intellectual challenges of the future will be answered by the collective human mind.